Good evening, friends and family and parents. We're so glad that you could be here tonight to celebrate the culmination of a really unique collaboration, a collaboration amongst teens and between the teens and the museum and between the teens and musicians. This is a really special night, and this program is only able to be in existence because of the generous grants, and I'm gonna, if you'll indulge me, I just want to list off the people that we are thankful, the organizations that we're thankful for. The Milwaukee Public Schools Partnership for the Arts and Humanities, the Greater Milwaukee Foundation's Mary Knoll Fund, the Milwaukee Arts Board, and the Wisconsin Arts Board. I've been told that I don't say Milwaukee enough like a native yet. Milwaukee, how's that? Is that Milwaukee? Milwaukee. That was pretty good? So we're gonna share two things with you tonight. One is a video documentary of some of the key moments that happened in our semester, and that is narrated by our teen interns. And then the second thing is a live performance, and you'll hear in the video a little bit more about what this performance is. Although each teen will be vocalizing their own written piece, the piece came about as a result of a series of really interesting and deep collaborations that they've had with the work in the museum, the Larry Sultan exhibit, trading of photographs with each other. And then also we have had musicians in residence who have come work with us multiple times and who are here again tonight. So we have Johanna Rose on upright bass, we have Jay Anderson on saxophone, we have Will Rose on percussion, and we have tonight a special guest, Ernie Brusubardis, on fiddle. So this is going to be seamless. So everybody put on your seatbelts, buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. We're going to show you the video documentary, and then we're going to go right into a live improvisational musical response to all of the stories of our teens while their photographs that they wrote the stories about, which were taken by their partner, are flashed on the wall behind them. So the musical score that you're going to hear tonight has never been played before and will never be played again. This is it. This is the one night. I want you to know that we are creating a documentary of tonight. You can see there's a camera back there. So don't worry. We're going to have a great video for you. And we also have a wonderful photographer. So not that I don't love social media, but if you find yourself really wanting to be present in the moment rather than constantly documenting and posting on Facebook, it's okay. Be with us and enjoy tonight's performance. The teen program at the Milwaukee Art Museum this fall explored some of the core elements that are becoming the fabric of our cultural institutions today: social engagement and collaboration.
When teens collaborate, they refine their own creative voices, their ability to listen, and they develop an understanding of a democratic process in which everyone's voice counts.
So throughout the semester, we had the teens collaborating with each other and with visiting artists and musicians across disciplines.
We used writing, drawing, photography, and music as languages for communication, so the teens could practice both speaking and listening in a variety of ways, modeling an artistic conversation.
Also, the museum was under renovation this fall, and so we had the incredible experience of being able to go behind the scenes and see the process of the museum actually being put together, reconstructed in a new way.
So this video is a collage of the teen voices to tell you a little bit more about what the program was like for them.
On the first day of the program, we got these super cozy blankets and we laid them on the floors in the Calatrava, and we got to look up at the ceiling and we saw these really cool windows, and I thought they were gonna fall on me. I was so scared, but I really liked the windows, and we meditated, and that was amazing because it was my first time being in the art museum, and it was just an overall great experience.
So when we were laying on the floor and looking up at the windows on the ceiling, it established more of a personal relationship with the museum rather than having it feel sort of like foreign territory, if you will. And it's just sort of become a second little home to me.
The museum was under construction, so it was closed off to the public, so we were able to go in there and get a hard hat tour. We all met, I think we met upstairs, and we walked over to the area where we were supposed to be meeting, and everybody just got their hard hats, put their hard hats on, put their glasses on, and we went into the construction site.
During the hard hat tours, we saw all these pieces boxed up and wrapped in plastic, and it was kind of cool to see these $1 million pieces of art in their first states, like hanging around in a studio, and it kind of gives you that perspective that our artwork and the artwork we see every day could maybe end up in some place as great as Milwaukee Art Museum.
It was towards the end of the tour, and Helene is just like, all right, everybody, you see where we are? Stop in 5 minutes. Just pick something and draw it. And you can pick these paintings or this furniture or the other people there. And so we kind of stood up, or some people, I guess, sat down, and we all just drew what we saw for 5 minutes. It was like really cool to be able to be in the art museum where no one else was able to go at that moment. We were really exclusive, like it was like a sneak peek that no one else was able to do, and we were able to draw from the artwork that was around, and it was really old artwork, so you got a majestic feel for it. It was great.
So on one of the first few weeks of the program, we sat here in Calatrava Hall on the floor in 2 different circles, an inner circle and an outer circle. And we were facing each other. We rotated, and each time we got a new partner, we were told to draw a portrait using line, cool colors, warm colors, and the final portrait was an abstract portrait.
I think color was very important for this project because it really expressed the personality and in the pose of the person, and I think it was very interesting for the abstract to use color and line and put it all together to create something that represented how you see someone from your perspective.
We were paired with a partner, and we had to choose a book that caught our attention, and we looked through the book and we found a picture that we would describe to our partner, and our partner would have to draw that picture without looking at the picture.
It was unlike any other experience I've ever had because you're not really put in the situation where you have to create something at the top of their head as like just as someone speaks and you have to like create. And it was difficult, but I learned a lot from it. Usually you draw from your head and you have time to plan it out, but at that moment when she's speaking, you just draw whatever comes to mind.
Okay, first thing we did was we split into groups and we sort of looked at the Larry Sultan exhibit and looked for things that children might take interest in and what they might sort of notice and how we could reply to them and give them something to take away to tell their parents and their peers, and tried to give them something to think about on the way home, and just so that they could be different, you know, change them just a little, perhaps their artistic sort of aura.
So they came out of the bus. I was pretty excited to meet them. I worked with kids before, so I was excited. They came in, we sat them down, and we kind of introduced each other and our groups. We had a lot of siblings together, so it was kind of fun. They were comfortable with each other. They wanted to learn things about the Larry Sultan, and they were kind of into photography themselves, so they were really happy about it.
All of the moments with the kids was great, but this one moment is when we had to fill in the words of what the grandparents were saying. And the little boy said, the grandfather said, life is going way too fast. And the grandmother was like, really? It was funny because you wouldn't expect the kid to say that.
So these musicians came in. They were guest speakers of sorts, or guest players, really. They played these improv songs. There was a bassist, a saxophonist, and a drummer. And we were to sit there and draw what we thought the sound of each instrument was, and then pass our notebooks on to the next person who would then draw the next instrument, and so on, until eventually we got our notebooks back and we had the song written in images, which was an interesting process, just to take that sound and make it into a picture.
It felt amazing to respond to the music with drawing because we were all kind of building a picture together. We would hear it and draw what we felt, and seeing the final result after everyone drew something together, it just looked so amazing. And then to see the musicians make music together, and they were improvising and we were improvising, it was a big project and it looked so cool when it was finished.
When we put all of these events together, we found that we had set the groundwork for the final collaborative event that the parents are going to see tonight.
Inspired by the Larry Sultan photography exhibit, the teens developed a photographic shot list, and they took photos for a partner.
Their partner had to write a story about the photos, but while they were brainstorming those stories, we had the musicians come back to play in response to the photos. So the music inspired the final draft of the stories.
So parents, what you're going to see tonight is the final product where everyone's voices come together as a result of this interdisciplinary collaboration between teens, musicians, and the museum.
Enjoy!
Bonfires burn the sins my reflections want to keep. I can't keep the truth, no matter how much you offer redemptions. Echoes of self-delusions isolate me whole. How come you think you can make me whole? Yes, I know those dirty mirrors are seeking reassurance behind my back while I am searching for love. Oh yes, love, my true Messiah.
Your eyes filled with bright petals, stagnant and polluted air, but you keep them close. You recite, they are you are them. Make me whole with vibrant hues. Wait, he said, just listen to this. And you hummed it for days. It takes some time to learn the words, know what they mean. He said, it's something about birds that mimic and stars that shine. It's whatever, really. But now your eyes are filled with flowers that grow in clear skies.
It was a bright Friday, about 4 o'clock. It was a nice day to go downtown for a walk. I walked and I walked. My feet are sweaty inside my shoes. The walking and just being outside gave me energy. I walked past the many tall buildings, feeling so tiny next to their tremendous towering heights. When I came across the art museum, I stopped, just to stare at the wings of the building reaching up into the sky. While looking up into the sky at the wings of the building, I was drawn into the clouds that were moving in. After seeing the dark clouds, I decided that I would take the chance to keep walking without my umbrella. But when I turned around, I realized more clouds, and they were darker, like the deepest depth. I decided it was time. It was time to go home. On my way home, it started pouring down rain. The rain fell so hard, the raindrops hit me as if they were asteroids crashing onto my favorite pink jacket. When I got home, I threw my wet jacket on the coat rack and I kicked off my wet running shoes. Through the mirror, I noticed my brother doing his homework. I went over to play with him, but he didn't really want to play at the moment. I caught the hint and I went up to my room to do some work. But when I got to my room, I sat on the bed and I looked around my room at all the electronic devices and I felt a strange disconnection from them. I grabbed the tissue box to wipe away my tears. As I looked into the mirror, gazing into my own eyes, I saw myself for the first time. Lost in my mind, remembering the rain that fell on my face during my walk, reminded me of how much I loved connecting with nature and being far away from technology. I felt almost as if I didn't know myself, like I had learned something new about who I was inside. I hoped another rainy day would come again, so I can escape through the raindrops once again and just remember a little more about who I am.
I did not want to leave town that morning. It was a rainy morning in mid-April. The air was thin, and I felt nauseous, but I had no choice. I had already accepted the job position and spent my first week's pay on shoes. I packed my computer and all the clean clothes I had in a large black duffel bag that I had since middle school. I threw the bag into the back seat of my old Honda, turned the key, and drove away, slowly, Away from my mother, who couldn't stop thinking about the things that could happen to me and all the challenges I might face. Away from my father, whose only goal in life was to watch me succeed. Away from my brother, who I took to school every morning. Away from my whole family, who I shared memories with in the places that I loved. A place that was easy, familiar, towards an unfamiliar home in a strange place, towards a new boss whose name I didn't know, towards a new boss who didn't know my name either. Despite this, my family had prepared me for all the challenges and all the changes I might face. I was ready to walk into my new life, no longer a boy, now a man.
Awestruck and curious Willow saw the world change at the hands of man. Water taken and secluded in pipes. She gracefully approached the daunting man-made monstrosity, looked down at her small feet, and fell through the slivers of open air. No stench, no absence of light. Instead, a pipe full of colorful voices from an urban crowd. And in the world down under, animals fabricated, not created, stone cold and chiseled, not warm, not fuzzy. Wise and experienced tortoise said to Willow, "Listen, young girl, you mustn't see one or the other. Instead, see both at once. A deep howl and a tumultuous bark from dog opened a stairwell that led back home. A new set of eyes young Willow had found. Home was stuck in an everlasting hug with tree. You were right," she whispered. And then she woke up.
I never open my cabinets, except when no one is around. I look at the face in the cabinet again. I like being alone in the house. It's quiet here. I never light candles, except when no one is around. I like being alone in the house. It's quiet here. I have space to think. I have space to breathe. I let myself expand out of my body into the air around me. I am never myself, except when no one is around. I walk through the apartment. I stop. I look. I touch the wood, the porcelain, the wet of the pomegranate. I listen for noise. There is nothing. I listen again. Still nothing. Quiet. Silent. There is no noise. It is too quiet. I need to get out. I can feel the house heating up. No, it's my mind heating up. Myself has filled the house. It pushes against the walls. I am alone. It's a hot box. I am suffocating. I am alone. I'm alone, and it's too hot. I close my eyes. Cool air, trees, wind. I listen to the sound. Whoosh. I am outside. I look up at the sky. I never look up at the sky, except when no one is around. There is no noise but the wind. I like it here.
The light appeared out of the darkness. It came from a transformer. Surprising, unexpected. I knew I had seen the light before, many years ago, when I was 8 years old. It reminded me of my grandfather. My grandfather used to tell stories of a light like this one. My grandma would be upset and say it was nonsense, and she continued to apply her makeup. My grandfather would continue to tell me anyways. He said, "You know, I saw a light like that when I was your age. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen." We used to take walks where he'd tell me more about the lights. He believed that Transformers were coming to Earth to wipe us all out. I loved those walks with him, and I always looked forward to them because of the stories he would tell me. I looked up to my grandfather and believed what he said. I remember every time after our walks, we would go back to the house where my grandmother would give us a snack. Now, at 16, I looked at the light once again, this time knowing it was just a reflection of the headlights from a car, and I laughed, remembering him telling me to stay away from the light. I knew my grandfather cared and wanted nothing but good for me. If I'm lucky, I'll grow up to carry the same qualities as my grandfather, kind and caring, and maybe with my grandchildren, I'll tell some of the same stories.
I was having a normal day, just like any other normal day. October 1st, 10:01. I was on my way to the gym when I received that phone call from my brother's friend. They had been playing basketball, as usual, and some guy didn't take losing his money on a game too well. He said they began to fight and ended in my brother getting shot. I hate guns. And was a basketball game really worth the life of my only brother? That's all I could think about in the car on my way to the hospital to see him. I was the first in the family to find out about the incident, and I had to be the one to tell our parents. I didn't want to tell them. I didn't even believe it myself, and immediately nothing felt the same. It felt like I didn't see color anymore. I wasn't the same anymore. The night after his funeral was the worst. I couldn't even drown myself in Netflix. I wanted my brother back, my favorite person in the whole world. I don't know when I'll live a normal day without a sad quietness surrounding me, without thinking about my brother. Nights like these, I drink warm milk to calm my stomach, but tonight that didn't work. Graduation day finally arrived, and all I could think about was the talk I had with my brother before he was killed. We had just been together the night before, and we were on our way home from a late night stop at the nearby custard place. My brother didn't graduate, and he began the conversation by asking me what I wanted to do after graduating, and I shrugged. I didn't know, nor did I care. He didn't like my response, and he began saying he wished he would have graduated when he had the chance. He told me I'd make him and our parents extremely proud. They went through enough heartache dealing with me, he laughed, and I shook my head smiling. My older brother was definitely the troubled child. Then he told me I lived the life that he couldn't, and he hugged me. As I walked across the stage to accept my diploma, and after so long, a smile spread across my face. 5 months since he had been gone. I looked up to heaven where I knew he was and smiled even harder. I hugged my parents, and my mom whispered, "Tyler would have been so proud of you. We're so proud of you." I almost let a tear fall, but I didn't. I've mourned enough, and I need to move forward. I graduated for myself and Tyler. That's a great thing. I'll carry his spirit with me throughout life, making sure I'm everything I can be and better. I felt amazing because Tyler will always be with me.
hour by hour, second by second, and all those moments in between. Who would have thought you'd be reminiscing about things you did little less than a year ago? As your life grows older and lonely, your heart becomes colder and harder to remember. The sweetness of adolescence, blurred lines between what you used to be and what you become. Reel back to a better you, back when you didn't rely on others' opinions so heavily. Before, when heaven and hell seemed parallel to the floor you walked on. Then you realized that heaven and hell are just a state of mind, and what you did and didn't achieve determined which way the scale leaned.
Every day you wake up, and every day you have a routine. You wake up, clean up, get ready, get out. School, extracurricular, work, fun. You check your phone constantly as if waiting for someone to be your saving grace. You neglect your work to talk, to browse, to look at other people talk, to look at other people's life. Texting, calling, books, magazines, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, generally the internet. You sure do love feeding on other people's life as if it's the most delicious thing you could ever ask for. Every day you greet your family. A simple hello maybe. Maybe a discussion, maybe dinner. You retreat from interaction with what is considered your own blood. You distract yourself with other things to avoid talking. You admire little trinkets. That little thing in the kitchen, that curtain over the window, what's in the dish cabinet or the cup cabinet, the snack cupboard. You seem especially interested in the fridge, opening it at least once every hour. You observe the roller coaster model on the floor and look at the way it twists and turns. You compare it to your own life. You think proudly to yourself about just how #deep you are. You fail to truly notice the intricacy, the dedication, and the work behind this roller coaster. You mess around with that toy around the house. The one that's a board with the pegs. You press your hands into it and whatnot, and it holds the shape. You remember how you used to believe it was magic, but only for a split second. No time for petty toys. You fail to behold the beauty of young imagination. You spray your succulents. You, being the ultimate definition of knowledge, know that one should not water their succulents as you would a regular plant, but mist them gently, which is actually incorrect. You poke them a couple times before leaving them be. You fail to notice the beauty of nature, the wonder of being able to keep it in your own home. You shake a snow globe. You watch the little glitter flakes fall around the angels. You take a picture of it and post it on Instagram. Waiting for my angel, #lonely, #looking for love, #romantic. You fail to admire the innocence of such a piece. You decide to go out. You inform your family member before stepping out the door. You drive somewhere for a walk around. It has just drizzled. You admire the way it glistens on the streets and sidewalks. You put in your headphones and put on your favorite song about loneliness. You outstretch your hand and look at your shadow, wishing another person's hand would be there, sharing your love of the way the world smells after the rain and the way the streets shine. You'd be the most #deep couple to walk these streets. You fail to realize the smell of rain is just the smell of bacteria all around. You enjoy the smell of dirt, cars, sweat, and dead skin cells. Delicious. You drive home, observing the city lights. You wish society wasn't so caught up in technology so you could see the stars, lay in the grass and gaze up at worlds yet to be found, muse. You fail to realize how much of a hypocrite you are as you get home and turn on every light you can. except in your bedroom. You turn on the TV in your room and hook up your laptop to it. You surf YouTube to find something to watch, and you end up watching some famous comedic act. You surf your phone, alternating between Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat every 5 minutes. You think about how dumb some people can be. You criticize those who admire musicians you don't. You think about how mundane these people are. You post on every account of yours something about how you don't feel like you will ever find anyone special enough to hang with you. You fail to realize you probably are not that much better than them. You fail to realize everyone is human. You head to bed, leaving your computer on as always. You reflect on all the wonderful things you did today, how productive you were, all the hashtag deep things you said. Everyone will be so impressed. You fail to realize how much you're missing out on.
Sanctuary. So many interpretations and representations of this word. The sanctuary can be deep inside your mind, a whole different realm, outside or inside your own home, a favorite spot or no destination at all, unseen behind a computer screen or a creative place, and embrace sanctuary.
The act of looking back causes me to dry heave, because the grass looks greener in my rearview mirror than it did when I was growing haphazardly near it. Because I abhor nostalgia like a cat abhors the water, I refuse to look into eyes I used to know for fear of both feeling everything and nothing and the spectrum in between. Despite all of this, the choir inside of my mind won't die. They shrilly scream that my memories are not how I recall, and that he only plucked me like strings on a cello to create a symphony with beauty beyond what I'm capable
To be or not to be? In love? Out of love? To be sad? What? That's the question. We're never going to be sure of happiness, sadness, or disappointment, the reality of this world. But does it matter? I have lost meaningful things and other things that don't matter. My life is disorganized. I've lost a beautiful time that I could never get back. Now I realize that others are happy with my presence. I turned away from the people who loved me the most. I've moved from place to place, trying to find true love. My choices made others leave. My head was full of mixed feelings. I will fight, I will kill, to find a way back to their hearts. But it took me years to realize that I was trying to find true love in the wrong place. Then all of a sudden, I realized that all I was looking for was right at home. My family, my true love,
others because she had too much love to give. All she ever wanted was to make them live a little longer, not realizing they were already dead. Her feet barely left footprints because she was too busy tiptoeing around people. Her head was in the clouds, but her feet were in the mud. Nobody stopped to notice her, but she was always carrying something on those tiny shoulders of hers. Her stomach would go empty every once in a while, but she didn't mind very much. She would keep her head up high and hope for the sky, but her fingers couldn't quite hold it all. It would seep through like raindrops and land at her feet, turning the dirt into mud and her socks into sponges, but she kept her eyes on the prize. Her life had no direction, but she knew it was going somewhere, because she had love in her heart and flowers in her hair.
Inside every book is a story. Every page has an adventure waiting to happen. The words make a wall of imagination, creating a landscape of infinite ideas. Ideas of family, how they stand side by side of each other, through the sun and the storm, able to withstand anything thrown their way. Ideas of friendship, whether they be young and innocent, quiet or shy, or daring and outgoing. They are always there when you need them most. Ideas of adventure, traveling far off into the distant sunrise, enjoying taste of freedom with the ones they hold dear to their hearts. Ideas of simplicity, looking at life, enjoying all the little things that can make us so happy and proud. We just want the moment to last a little longer. Ideas of diversity, looking at things in a different way, exploring new possibilities, to see our lives not just as a routine, but as a gift we all have been given. Ideas of comfort, always knowing that no matter how far you stray from home, how much you stray from your origin, you are always able to follow the light back to where the good times lie. And so, every adventure must find its destination, and every page must come to an end. The book must come to a close, but the ideas and imagination will always live on.
Drip, drip, drip. There's water in my ear, and my nose, and my hair. Why am I wet? I sit straight up and smack my head on the ceiling of rock. I seem to be alone in a small, damp cave, but why? I fumble in the dark for my phone, my hands slick as I turn the hectic glow of the screen beside me, where my two best friends sleep on wet stone, where I was sleeping just moments ago. Caitlin is clad in torn clothes as usual when we go out. Her Filipino hair is a curtain over her back, shoulders sticking to her neck and face, where her running eyeliner mirrors Jade's, and Jade is curled beside her as her hair is curled close to her head from the moisture in the cave. Gold glitter dusts her brown skin heavily, glinting in the light from the phone. I shake them both and begin inching towards the end of the cave where something must have shined to wake me up. They wake and groggily follow me from the cave, up wet stairs of stone into a shallow pond shadowed by a rock wall. Grimly, we trudge through the water, splashing up to a muddy shore. As we begin down a path, beaten down by others and lined with autumn leaves falling from autumn trees, in the back of my pocket, in my sky blue jeans, my phone softly pings. A message from a contact with no letters, just a dash for a name.
The picture for this person is a group photo, an old one. 3 children with dark blonde hair cheesing hard at the camera as it flashed. Who is this? Caitlin is glancing over my shoulder as I scroll through the conversation that began after midnight, after my birthday officially started. She squeals and bounces in front of me, her hair a black rabbit behind her. You met someone last night? You did. I sidestep her and continue on the path. I don't know who this is and it hardly matters. I'm leaving soon, we're all leaving soon, and you know how I feel about boys right now. I feel my face heating as I read the messages. Was I really that bold? I feel a dense thump on my back, and it's Jade, green contacts flashing at me with her eyes. And you know how we feel, so tell us about him. I groan through my teeth. There's nothing to tell because I don't know him. And I don't want to. Caitlin has my phone. I'm not sure how, but she's gliding in front of me, barely touching the ground as her small fingers fly down the screen. You're supposed to meet him today. To celebrate. He wants to celebrate with you. Come on. My hands fly to my face to cover me, to hide me from them both, as I refuse, and Jade catches my hands, brings them down to my sides. We pause on the path. It sounds like we're gonna get you ready. We have... She glances at her watch, wipes water from the glass. 4 hours and 13 minutes. We started getting down the path and I leave my argument to fall with the leaves behind me. We reach my neighborhood with 3 hours, 50 minutes until I have to meet the dash. I clench my hands as we approach my house, the neighborhood quiet in the wake of us. Through the back door to my room in the basement, down dry stone stairs. Hair pulling and dry towels and face wiping and giggling. Pulling on pants and shirts and makeup and hurry, we don't have time. We turn and fly up the stone stairs as dry as they are now. In the kitchen, we are ninjas through cabinets, speeding through a haphazardly prepared breakfast of dry cereal and oranges. She finds us anyway. My mother, brown eyes muddy with discontent and disgust. She knows we were wet with makeup smeared across our faces. She knows that I'm leaving, that we're all leaving soon. She knows that we don't care now. We all sidestep her and streak from the house, hooting down the street, hoping we wake the iron gates from the sleep they're in because she knows we don't care. We have 2 hours, 7 minutes to meet the dash. Even though I'm leaving, we're all leaving soon. Across town, with no money because who has it right now, and no transportation because what's the point of getting a car when we're all leaving anyway? Under the bridge, the construction workers take with them like we take each other wherever we go, over concrete, broken up and replaced like friendships. Walking hard, 6 Converse shoes and shadows behind 3 bodies leaning hard against the future. 1 hour, 4 minutes. We reach a bubbler and a Chase Bank. They tease us as we pass them by. You don't want something new? You don't want something easier? We fight them back by holding each other tighter, nails digging into skin as we push ourselves against the glass ahead of us, making a door for ourselves through throngs of people. We never stop moving. We slow down. We slow down to an amble and drag each other where we can't keep up. When we reach the beach, there's a fence in the sand, thrown up by someone with no training in fence building. Just sticks held in place by string for all the good it would do to separate or displace us. It's my birthday, and we came out to celebrate, and I'm going to celebrate with the dash, even though I'm leaving. We're all leaving soon. We write my date and the time in the sand, and I want to cry because someone can end it so easily, any of us could wipe it away with the swing of our feet. But we leave it to stare at the sky. We reach the dash's place, Rapunzel's castle, white and reaching for the sky. We all lean back to see the balcony of our adventure. Even though we're all leaving soon. Caitlin and Jade pry their fingernails from my skin, but I slip my arms through theirs and ring the doorbell with both hands. We hear the dash skip down the stairs, and they try to slip away, but I look at them and hope my brown eyes aren't like my mother's, instead like Jade's. I hope my expression is like stone stairs, wet or dry. So we stay, even though I'm leaving, we're all leaving soon. Dash opens the door, and I smile at him. This is Caitlin and Jade Dash, and they're going to be with us.
wasn't all fun and games with the teen internship. We actually did, in addition to all of this incredible creative work, we actually did some career-oriented activities. And one of those things was a resume workshop. So as our final thank you for coming to see us and to send the teen interns off tonight, I'm going to call their name and just have them stand up, and I'm going to hand them an envelope that has both a certificate of excellence for their completion of the internship here at the museum and also 2 very fancy copies of the resumes that they worked on in our business workshops. So when I call your name, just stand up and I'll hand you the certificate, and then I'd like you to turn and face the audience and just kind of stand so that by the end you'll all just be lined up and everyone can see your gorgeous faces. Deal? Okay. Colleen Fisher. Sonia Kaczynski. I think this will be a little easier. Andrea Oliveros. Bria Danye Johnson. Sierra Robbins. Froilan Hernandez Esquivias. Jaya Talley. Jasha McLeod. Lawson Mitchell. Leslie Montelongo. Michaela Miller. Perla Betancourt. Philip Howard. Cheyenne Wilson. Suvan Prasutsak. Montasser Abdul Jalil. Let's have a hand for these amazing teen interns. And I'd also like to have a big shout out to my teaching assistant, Kalia Walkowiak, who has been in the back. She's waving up there. She has been managing this whole thing, and our videographer, Embry Brisky, assisting the process. I'd like to thank all of our musicians for such an amazing one-night only improvisational experience tonight. And I'm going to let them take it out. Teens, you can have a seat, and we're going to let the musicians just take the night down when they're ready.